2009, it's the first day, the nasal vaccines have been distributed. They're already here in Clackamas, and they're being distributed throughout the United States. It's a live virus. And so here's the situation. You got about half the doctors on average in polls saying they're not going to take it. And now they're saying if you don't take it, you're going to lose your job. In fact, a girl called in from Boston to my show on Oracle Broadcasting, and she was freaked out because her mom, same day, was like, we're not just reading headlines here, it's actually happening now. You either take the shot, have faith that it's actually going to take care of you and you'll be able to hold off the swine flu, or you no longer have a job and you can get the unemployment line like everybody else, which is another friggin' issue. The economy's shot. There's no more money left. The Federal Reserve says they have $200 billion in gold, but how do we know that unless they actually audit the Fed?
They've been buying up the gold.
And that's what's happening. They've been buying up the gold.
That's what those ads are.
It's all happening together now. The economy, okay, here are the reports right now. They're saying that China, Russia, Iran, other countries, especially Arab states, are having Saudi Arabia, secret meetings to dump the dollar now. Japan just had a change in government. Their new government says they're going to dump the dollar as soon as they friggin' can. And the craziest thing is, yesterday's news, the former Prime Minister of Japan is dead. You know, it's like a scene from Goodfellas. Jimmy's got to whack everybody so nobody says nothing. Because all these guys are being indicted for corruption. Dead men don't talk. A couple weeks ago I talked about dead CEOs. In a matter of 48 hours, 4 dead CEOs of big banks, including a guy that was the CEO of Rockefeller and Company, supposed suicide. Steve Quayle, I agree with some of his stuff, not all of it. He's done a lot of research on dead microbiologists, nearing about 100 over the course of the last decade. And this started before 9/11 even happened. So here's what we're looking at. A staged collapse of the economy that obviously creates a crisis and panic. How the hell are you going to feed yourself? We also have issues with the weather and crops, this next crop season. It's a supply and demand issue. There's been a lot of natural disasters as well this year, earthquakes. India, they just got flooded. A third of their crop for corn, their corn crop is gone now. It's just bizarre how all this is falling into place at the same time. So you have that particular issue with people not being able to feed themselves, or how are people going to pay their mortgage? Where are people going to go when people are homeless? Where do people go? Where are the villages? Where are the tent cities? Where is a safe spot? It doesn't exist. Detroit, look at Detroit. Look at the front page of Time magazine this week. Looks like someone dropped a friggin' bomb on that town. There's nothing there. Total blown out ghetto. And this is what's happening in so many small towns. And in these small towns, Mike, as you're saying, what's happening? They're building more prisons. Oh, you want a job? You're not a logger anymore. You're not a carpenter anymore. You're not an engineer anymore. You can come work in the new American industry as a prison guard. They're doing this all over the friggin' country. And it's actually just begun. And they'll take over ghost towns, and they'll build a camp, and they'll say, hey, this is your new economy. We can boost things up a bit. There's hope. And this is how they sold the people of Hardin, Montana. This guy in Hardin, Montana, the guy that's running the American police force, he was a front by the name of Michael Hilton, if you really even think that's his real name.
Yes, sir.
He had 17 aliases.
Yep. Known gangster.
Grand theft. Grand theft is what he went to the pen for in California for 6 years. And all of a sudden, this felon walking around with a gun, and they're setting up a camp, 464 beds. The mainstream media got on it just like that, and now they've been exposed. But it doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. That camp's still there. That prison's still there. And so is Wapato, which is right here in Oregon. It's empty still. So we have to be vigilant and pay attention to what's going on locally. And Mike, we need to talk about the black helicopters in a minute. What were you going to say?
I'll bring it up in a sec, but I just wanted to mention that that was just one isolated thing in Montana. I mean, you have to think, during the whole war in Iraq, you had, I mean, people say Blackwater, 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 but there are literally hundreds of companies just like Blackwater.
They have subsidiaries. They have subsidiaries. And APF is another front group, but they're also connected to DynCorp, which was involved in child sex slavery rings in Africa. This is what DynCorp was involved in. Look at Cynthia McKinney's confrontation with Donald Rumsfeld in 2003. It's on YouTube. He said they were put in the penalty box. And they would pay a little fine, and they'd be able to come back out and continue their operations. They're there to distribute vaccinations in the third world, and they're involved in child sex slavery rings. But nobody gets busted. So you've got that going on now. We went up to Washington. This stuff's very serious, and people shouldn't get afraid. They should get prepared. It's intense what we're talking about, but this stuff's actually happening now. There are black helicopter drills all over the country right now, in multiple cities. Mike was talking back there, and I went to Bellingham, Washington a couple of days ago, over the weekend, and we saw 4 black helicopters with a Chinook double prop helicopter behind it, circling over Seattle, Washington, over the Mariners game, because they're acclimating the people that are going to these sports games that it's normal and it's fine to have black helicopters land in your stadium.